This is Trauma Support Group Management. I had to do a retake. I had to do a video over because some information was given wrong. But guess what? That's okay. Tonight, this is the retake of self-reflection, emotion. Okay. The person that you see today, I have not always done things correctly. I am a person that has dealt with trauma, PTSDs, triggers, addiction, physical and mental illnesses, and sexual, verbal, physical, and financial abuse as well. So if you want to say I was a mess, I was a mess. And when I was watching my video earlier, I want to share with you that I stayed in addiction, low self-esteem, neglect. I neglect myself. Hurt some family members, ruined some good relationships because of my emotions. A lot of times in life, we don't think to stop and just take that pause of, to address how we feel instead of just responding. And a lot of times we respond. If you have trigger trauma, PTSDs, addictions, mental and physical illnesses, a lot of times you respond. We're people of, excuse me, we're people of reaction, okay? Excuse me. We're a people of reaction. So sometimes you have to take that, what I just did, that pause, okay? You have to take that pause. It's very important when you take a pause to know how you feel. And a lot of times, excuse me, and during my lifestyle, I never had time to take that pause, to think about the repercussion, to think about, what bad is going to happen. Today in this class, I want to let you know that you can have emotional stability, and not only emotional stability, you can have emotional awareness. You can find out and know how you feel during high stress situations. Now, a lot of times, you know, life goes on, but when you're in a situation where things are chaotic, okay, when things are out of order or things are high strung or high situations, you got to understand how to respond. I'm going to teach you that in this class because I didn't always respond the way I used to. Hello, everyone that's speaking to me. I don't know you by email, but if I know you by face, but I don't know you by email. But today is very important because I want to save you a lot of trouble. I want to save you from getting in trouble. I want to save you from saying things that you really don't mean, okay? And I want to also say this. Hello, Miss Jamira. I don't know how to say that name. So I want to say this, but hello, thank you for being here today. I want to also let you know that you can have control over your emotions. True testimony before we get into the class. Recently, I had a friend, and we have miscommunication, a lot of miscommunication. And for me, coming from my past that's extensive with abuse, foster homes, gangs, drugs, street imprisonment, and all these traumas and PTSDs and triggers, because I do have a lot of triggers that I'm working to live with. I'm just being an example that you can live with triggers also as well. You can find out, like, hey, what's making me mad? What's making me uncomfortable? You can be in tune with your emotions with that. So I had a situation where, you know, I had a miscommunication, and next thing you know, I start having all these thoughts. I had to control my behavior and all this type of stuff. Okay, which is cool. That's cool. See you later. So I just want to let everyone know that sometimes you don't need to respond. If you say hey, somebody don't say hey back, don't respond. If you say they say bye, somebody don't say bye back, you don't need a response. We need to learn how to control our emotions. We need to learn how to not, let everything affect us. For people that are coming out. If you're being sober, you're coming into addiction. Okay, you're sensitive. People that are in financial struggle, they sensitive. People that have been through abuse and trauma, PTSDs, they're sensitive. These are people. This was people that understand that it's not easy dealing with your emotions. Having emotions can be very difficult. Okay, so back to the story. When I had this disagreement, I even asked somebody else their opinion about how they felt about a situation. Sometimes, if you are in your emotions and you're not very clear how you feel about a situation, if you have that healthy somebody that, somebody that you're comfortable with, or if you're in a part of a group or a leader of a church or your psychiatrist or whatever the case may be, you can always have a third party opinion, which is really, don't go by that, but it's okay if you're comfortable and say, hey, this is bothering me. I feel like I need your opinion on this. And we need to keep doing this, okay? Because that's how we can keep connected in this world with other people, with our emotions. I know a lot of people say, well, I got my own problems. Yeah, that's true. But if you have somebody that you're comfortable with, you can talk to that person. So back to the story. The story was I had a misunderstanding and I started overthinking. I started, thinking irrational, like, what should I do? Should I go do this? Should I make a complaint? Should I, just all these other avenues instead of stopping and just saying, what they did hurt my feelings. A lot of times it's okay if your feelings is hurt. You don't have to be Mr. Macho all the time, or you don't have to be Miss Independent, where you nothing can't break you. Sometimes you got to be in tune with your emotions. You not being in tune with your emotions is what break you. Okay, so I was in tune with myself, and I said, you know what? I got to the person, and I talked to the person, and we talked, and I shared with the person that, hey, you hurt my feelings, and we corresponded in the conversation. And next thing he listened. He listened to me. I talked. I listened to him. He talked. We apologized to each other, and we move forward. So it's okay to be in tune with your emotions, especially if you're in love. You have a relationship. You have family members that that you can communicate with. If you have anybody in life, you can let somebody know how you feel with your emotions. Okay, without judging yourself. All right. So it's not saying, oh, be soft and sensitive, but be secure in your emotions and your emotional stability and emotional awareness. All right. So that's a testimony. Most of my life, I never did make the right decision because of my emotions. All right. I was in addiction because of my emotion. I was in toxic relationships because I had unhealed emotions. That's why sometimes if you are not in a relationship or you come out of a relationship, you don't want to jump into another relationship because you need to heal your emotions. All right. And this is really good. So I have a little Bible verse. When I give testimony, I do have a Bible verse I would like to share tonight. And it was earlier. It was earlier. I was reading this and I was like, man, our emotions, our heart is connected to our emotions. When you love somebody, you love somebody. Like me, if I love somebody, I love somebody from my heart. Okay. If back in the days, I'm gonna say back in the days, if I didn't like you, I didn't like you from my heart. If I had beef with you, it was something in my heart. It was something, amen. See, like somebody just said, I love God so much. That's in your heart, okay? But in your emotions, when you do have all this love and you have this forgiving heart and you believe the best in people, sometimes some people can take advantage of that. And what you have to learn how to do is guard your heart. All right. So that's what the scripture I'm going to get to right now. Is how to guard your heart. In Proverbs 4:23, it says, keep your heart with all diligence. Okay. Proverbs 4:23. Keep your heart with all diligence. The word diligence means persistent. Like always keep your heart with persistent. Okay. All right, we're talking about emotions today. I'm not a theologian. I'm not going to ignore anybody. Somebody asked me, said, what is your opinion about Buddhism? This is not the class about Buddhism. We're talking about emotions today. All right. So sometimes when you have life, you need to keep your heart with diligence. You need to just keep your emotions, just be careful with your own personal heart. Okay. Be careful with your emotions. Okay. And the rest of the scripture says, for out of it spring the issues of life. Okay. So some things in your life are going to happen. Some things, some people going to treat you some type of way. Some people might take advantage of you. Some people might don't appreciate you. Some people might disagree with you. Some people might don't agree with you. Some people might don't appreciate you. But you got to learn how to guard your heart, because for out of it the issues of life. Okay. So most of the things that are happening in life right now, you got to guard your heart. And guess what? Another thing, that if you want to know somebody, how they really feel about you, listen how they talk. Because the Bible said, for the abundance of the mouth, the heart speaks. If somebody down with you, they'll show you if they down with you from their heart. Because from out of your heart, it says what it says. Keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it, out of what? Out of your heart, spring the issues of life. So a lot of times, if you're going through something, or let's just say individually, if I don't like a person, that's because it was in my heart. If I committed a sin or a crime, because it was in my heart. You don't know what's in your heart until your back is against the wall. You don't know what's in your heart until some high stress situation is occurring at that moment. The reason why this class is being taught today, because life right now is very at a high state. Family ain't family no more. Relationships ain't relationship no more. Men ain't men no more. Men are women. Women are not women no more. Women are men. This is right now, the economy low. People dying left and right. It's just so much going on. And today, if you don't have Jesus Christ in your life and in your heart, when situations arise and issues of life happen, your heart gonna get dark. Right now, if you don't guard your heart, what you watch on social media, if you don't guard your heart, what you hear every day, diligent every day, you have to protect your heart. Every day you got to be careful with your feelings and emotions. All right? Because guess what? For out of it springs the issues of life. One thing I will say about my heart, I haven't always had the most perfect heart. But today, if you can, and this is just by faith I'm speaking this, get bitterness out your heart. Get unforgiveness out your heart. Get hatred out your heart. Get prejudice, being prejudiced, out your heart. Get segregation. Get it out your heart, okay? It's a lot of things that's in our heart that we need to, be careful with, all right? Because guess what? What's in you gonna come out. What's in you gonna come out. What I'm saying today on here in this video is that you got one life, and you need to be careful with the heart that you have, and how you let people affect your heart, because your heart affects your emotions. Okay. So now that I got that out the way, because I'm kind of doubling back over here right now, because I made this class before, and kind of struggled a little bit, but that's all right. In my heart, I had to do this class over with. Okay. So listen, we're talking about self-reflection on the emotional tip. All right. Listen, emotional self-reflection is the intention practice of pausing to explore. I'm going to pause right there for a second. When things are going chaotic or you're in a high stress situation, you need to learn how to pause and to explore. Let's see what it says. It says to pause and explore, identify and understand your eternal emotional states and reaction. We got to learn how to not react in high situations, in anger, in frustration, okay? In hatred. We have to learn how to have more emotional stability, all right? It says this. Now you need to pause to explore, identify, and understand your inner emotional states and reaction without judgment. Okay? Sometimes if you feel a type of way, don't judge the way you feel. If you feel hurt, somebody hurt you, you feel hurt. Don't judge that. Don't second guess your emotions, okay? Give me something fresh, Lord. Come on, give it to me. All right, let's go. It says this process transforms automatically emotional reaction into thoughtful, conscious response. Listen, a lot of times in our emotions, I'm teaching today, even though you might have mental health issues, even though you might have unhealed trauma or unforgiveness in your heart, or whatever the case may be that's bothering you and triggering and setting you off, you need to learn how, especially in this time of life right now, because people are dying just because they don't know how to just stop and don't say nothing and understand, hey, this reaction could cost me the rest of my life. It could cost me my life or cost me the rest of my life. Okay? You got to stop and be into your emotions and listen. That thoughtful, conscious response, you got to think about it. You think before you react. I didn't always do this. Now, that's the reason I'm teaching this class. I really want to help everyone. I'm helping somebody today. Think before you react. Because there's consequences behind that. There's consequences behind you not thinking before you react. Now, if you're getting away with it, I ain't saying nothing. Okay? But some things in life you can't get away with when you not thinking correctly. Okay? So watch this here. It says regular reflection strengthens the neural pathways between your emotional brain. Because your emotional brain, what's your emotional brain? I want you to think about that. Because you got your emotional brain and you have your rational brain. Now, your emotional brain, happy, sad, mad, angry, frustrated. Okay? That's the emotional brain. Then you have your rational brain. Okay? Because when you're in your emotional brain, you don't think correctly. But when you have your rational brain, which is the logical thinking center, which helps you make good decisions. So we need to start thinking rationally, not irrationally, but rationally. We need to start thinking with our emotions and start thinking rationally. Okay? Think of the cause and the effect. Okay? Think about the consequences. Sometimes think about the consequences. Think rationally, all right? I'm trying to help you because are you looking at a person? I could have been doing 10 to 15 years right now because I wasn't thinking rationally, okay? Now, if you don't know how to do this type of thing, I'm going to help you out today. I have key benefits of emotional self-reflection, all right? Number one, boost emotional intelligence, all right? This is how you do it. Regular reflection is proven to score individuals significantly higher on emotional intelligence assessments. All right. So if you don't know what emotional intelligence assessments is, I'll break that down for you. It is a tool designed to measure your ability to recognize, understand, and manage and influence your own emotions and the emotions of others. You see that? Sometimes you could be in a situation and you can recognize, you like, wait a minute, hold on. Hold on, this is some red flag, danger, danger. Or do you can say, you know what? Oh, I understand. Maybe they're going through a bad day or something. Or you can manage it. You can say, hey, you know what, Darrell? Don't take it personal. It ain't got nothing to do with you. And you can influence your emotions and the emotions of others. So you can really say, hey, calm down, or it's not that bad, or you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be okay. Okay, this is that influence. You can sometimes you can help somebody out in an emotional state. You see people when they get in an accident, you get volunteers run over, hey, you okay, okay? And the person might be hurt. They be like, you all right, you all right? And just because you saying all right, that can help them be all right. There's some things in life that you, not me, but you can be out there and you could be a positive influence over somebody else's emotions. Okay? This is positive. This is good. Because guess what? If you have a better emotional stability, you can help somebody else have emotional stability as well. All right. Number 2, improves emotional regulation. All right. So listen, slowing down lowers immediate negative emotion activation and reduces stress. Okay. Now, you might say, what's a negative emotion activation? Like anxiety, anger. That's the only two I'm going to come up with. All right. So you can reduce this just by slowing down. Okay. And you can reduce stress as well. All right. Number 3, uncovers behavioral triggers. It exposes why certain situations cause sudden defensive anger or anxiety. Now I'm gonna talk about this. This is really good. When you are triggered, the reason why I giggle because trigger is it's like stepping on a bomb. Boom. It's like lighting down this dynamite. Boom, boom. Triggers are very serious. Triggers make you respond. If you don't know that, sometimes you can see a person and your emotions, your emotions will you be like, oh, we're gonna get into that, but your body will tighten up. Something will happen. Your nerves get bad, your spirit be like, oh my, you lose your peace, something. Okay, or you'll be defensive. Let's stay with the notes. It say you will be defensive. Some people you can see, or some things you can hear or smell or whatever, you become defensive. Sometimes somebody can trigger you and you can get angry. Or sometimes somebody can trigger you and you just have anxiety. You start worrying and being fearful. All right. So listen, you can manage your triggers. All right. Just understand and what situation causes your triggers. All right. Remember that. Number 4, prevent emotional rumination. It shifts the mindset from toxic overthinking to productive, forward-looking insight. Listen, when you have a situation, do not overthink that situation. Change it to something positive. You could do this in a practice. You could practice. I'm teaching you, I practice this. You have to start practicing this. If you want emotional stability, you have to have that practice not to overthink a problem. Because sometimes you can overthink something and you start getting worried, you start getting depressed, you start having anxiety, you start being fearful. It can steal your joy. It can take your mood away, okay? Today, don't overthink the situation. What you could do, change the bad to good by productive, forward-looking insight. That means change that negative mindset into a positive mindset. Okay? Say, for instance, let's talk about miscommunication, because that's what my thing is. I had a miscommunication, right? I thought about it, but I didn't overthink it. And my productive forward look at insight was, you know what? All I need to do is just talk with him, and we need to work this out. And guess what? We can go back to being best of friends. And that's exactly what happened. So sometimes they say when you put your mind to it, you can do it, right? Hey, when you put your mind to it, you can do it. So try practicing positive, productive, forward-looking insight. That means you can see, look for better days, look for the situation to get better, not worse. Look for just change within that relationship or that situation. Guess what? All situations don't last forever. So always have a positive productive forward-looking insight. Okay. Now, if you don't know how to do these type of things I'm teaching, I have the 4-step reflection framework that I'm going to give to you right now. All right. Number 1, identify the physical sensation. Notice where you hold emotion in your body, like tight chest, or clenched jaws, closed hands, or just any kind of frigidness, anything that makes you tense. Pay attention to that. Notice that. This is a warning sign of your emotions letting you know, or your body letting you know that you're uncomfortable. All right. A lot of times before we get hurt or before we get into, while we're in the high situations, it's called freeze, fight, or flight. All right. You're going to do one of them. Okay. So pay attention to that. Number 2, label the exact emotion. Name the feeling, especially like I feel invincible. That's just an example. All right. Like I feel invincible rather than just I feel bad. Okay. So you can, you don't have to be as negative. You don't have to be that negative on yourself. Don't do that. Okay. But sometimes you can label that, say, I feel uncomfortable, or I feel unsafe, or I'm losing my peace. Like you can identify and label your emotion. Like I feel sad, or I don't, I feel depressed. You can label that emotion. So pay attention to that, and try to be positive as you can with that emotion. Don't be negative. Okay. Number 3, adopt a distant perspective. Now listen now. Analyze your experience objective from a third person viewpoint to gain a cognitive distance. So listen, you can have a high stress situation, and it's always that someone to talk to. Shout out to my mom. Some situations we'll check, we'll call each other and be like, "Hey, son, what you think about this?" And I'll be like, yeah, okay, yeah, we might need to handle that a certain type of way. Sometimes it's good to have somebody that you can trust when you have certain type of emotions that you can share with, and it can help you think before you react. They can help you think about the situation before you get back into the situation. Because some situations, when you have it, sometimes you need to walk away from. Sometimes you need to give yourself a break. Sometimes you probably need to distance yourself from that individual for a length of time. And talking to somebody that you're comfortable with does help. All right, and that's very important. Number 4, identifying the underlying need. Determine what information or boundary the emotion is trying to communicate to you. All right. I want to break this down and say this is total emotional awareness. Please do not avoid how you feel. Do not stuff how you feel. Especially if you're in love, especially if you're coming out of addiction, especially if you're dealing with all the things that I have named. If you're going to counseling, don't talk to your counselor, okay? If children, teenagers, if you having problems at school or you having certain emotions in your life, talk to your parents. You can't talk to your parents, Go to the law. I ain't telling you to be the police, but go to the law. You got to find somebody to talk to, because you have to be aware of how you feel. Understand that, okay? Because your body will tell you the information. Like, say for instance, if I said this in the first video, say for instance somebody's standing in my arm reach. Anything from arm reach is a violation to me. So sometimes you can say, hey, in your mind, you be like, hey, I'm starting to get uncomfortable, because that's your boundary. That your body's letting you know your boundaries being infiltrated. Okay, I'm just using that for example, but it's okay. It's okay to have emotional awareness. All right, if I want to really stamp on that, like, have emotional awareness. Now, there are certain things that you can do if you don't have nobody to talk to. I have a daily journal. Okay, yes, that's a daily journal. You see that? That's a lot of emotional writing. Excuse me. Okay, a lot emotional writing. I say how I feel. I say what's bothering me. So let's get into it. Now, I have daily journaling prompts that you can do, and here's one of them. What specific moment triggered the strongest shift in your mood? Okay. Pay attention to what sets you off. Pay attention to what makes your body clench. Pay attention what changes your mood. Okay. Pay attention to that. All right. Do not avoid that. Okay. Pay attention to that emotion that changed your mood. All right. Number 2, how did my body physically react when I felt the emotion? Once again, your body will let you know how you feel. If you want to see, if you in a crowd, just from street perspective, I want to let you know you could see when it's about to go down. Watch people body language. Okay. All right. Observe people body language, or pay attention to your body language. You'll know when you're about to snap, or do something that you don't want to do. So be careful with your body. Watch your body language. Okay. Now, I want to say this too. Sometimes when you have a certain emotion, your body language will show it. I was saying that. That's what I was going to say. Number 3, did my subsequent behavior align with my core value? Listen, if you have standards, qualities, and boundaries, understand this. The way you act is what you believe. So if you say, I'm a Christian, I believe in Jesus Christ, you can't be out there throwing up gang signs and toting guns and drinking 40s and smoke weed and at the club. I'm just using that for an example, okay? Okay? So the way you believe that you are on the inside, if you believe that you're a good person, do good things. Your fruit, your lifestyle should show it, okay? Here at Trauma Support Group Management, I can speak on this because I have a record and then I have a new life. And my new life is my behavior sometimes, most of the time. I'm learning that it lines up with my core value. And one of my core values that I do teach is that you can change. So my behavior show that. If you watch my videos, you go back to my videos, you'll see sometimes I might be laughing, sometimes I might be crying. But one thing I do stay consistent in is that you can change. All right. So even with your emotions, you can have emotional awareness and emotional stability, and you can change. All right. Number 4, what is the difficult feeling trying to tell me about my unmet need? Now, when you have unmet needs, you will have difficult feelings. All right. Now, if you have no one to help you, please seek some professional help. You can call 211-988. Find a church, find some community, find, AA, NA, find a group, find some kind of support. If not, I'm going to introduce you. You can have a prayer life. You can talk to God, and be a part of a church. Talk to a pastor, talk to some leaders, get some kind of help, because a lot of times when we have unmet needs, we suffer. We get into depression. We have low self-esteem. We don't have no drive. We get hopelessness. We get weary. We get tired. Just real discouragement. Okay. But today, if you have an unmet need, okay, understand what that difficult emotion, that difficult feeling is trying to tell you. It might be trying to tell you that, hey, you need help, or you need to forgive that person, or you need to love that person, or you need to do better about yourself, or do better about something. Because when something's unmet, you're dying. Imagine not taking care of a child, don't feed it. What happens? Imagine not taking care of a pet. What happens? Imagine not taking care of a plant. What happens? So imagine not taking care of you. What happens? Okay? I want you to think about that. Number 5. How can I respond with more self-compassion if a similar situation happens tomorrow? Listen. If I got a testimony, I got it because it just hit me. Boom. I remember when I was coming up, my dad was verbally and physically abusing me. And I ain't gonna lie to you. During that course, I figured out how to be nice to myself. And you know what I did? I used to sell drugs, but I ain't tell nobody to go sell drugs. But I used to sell drugs and go shopping. But it got to a point where I wasn't making no money. So you know what I used to do? I used to sit down and talk to myself and say, it's going to be all right. Everything's going to be okay. I can make it. This ain't going to last forever. Sometimes you got to be nice to yourself. When you have messed up emotions and you come from a toxic background and dysfunction, listen, this is the time where you need to sit down and be nice to yourself. Talk to yourself. Look into yourself in the mirror. Appreciate yourself. Encourage yourself. Okay? This is self-compassion. Get in the shower. Take a bath. Clip your nails. Do your hair. Cut your hair. You know what I'm saying? Make your bed. Wash your clothes. Fold your clothes. Clean your shoes. Whatever it is that you could do to take care of yourself is self-compassion. If you work out, if you're on a special diet, try practicing speaking positive every day. Try practicing positive thinking every day. Give your life to Christ. Get sober. Leave that toxic relationship. Okay? This is where you have self-compassion. One thing I want to say in this class, I'm a person, I have not always cared about myself. I got the record and I got paperwork to show it. But today you're looking at a person that was birthed. Trauma support group management was birthed from self-compassion. By taking care of myself, believing in myself. I want you to start being emotional stable and emotional aware of what's going on with you. And then on top of that, I know it's hard to really deal with yourself, but go ahead and just start loving yourself. Because the Bible said, love your neighbor as you love yourself. You can't love nobody else unless you love yourself. So once again, like the Bible said, we read it today. Proverbs 4:23. Keep your heart with all diligence. Be persistent and careful how you feel every day. Watch. Don't just let no kind of emotion sneak in and resonate. Don't let no negativity come in and take root into your heart. Okay? I want you to love yourself more. Listen, if you never had Jesus Christ in your life, I'm going to introduce you to say the sinner's prayer with me. It's Romans 10:9. And that's one of my favorite scriptures to really broadcast. So today, we're going to read Romans 10:9 and see what it says. Let's do that. Romans 10:9 says that if you confess with your mouth that the Lord Jesus Christ and believe in your heart that God has raised him from the dead, you will be saved. Now, if you want to take Jesus Christ into your heart today, let's do that, okay? So just lift your hands a little bit and say, Lord, in the name of Jesus, you said in your word, if I confess with my mouth and believe in my heart that God raised him from the dead, Jesus Christ, I will be saved. Listen, if you said that prayer with me today, you just got a new heart. You might come to some steps in your walk where you might have to forgive. You might have to let go. You might have to end a relationship. You might have to let go of that drug. You might have to let go of them traumas, them PTSDs and triggers. You might have to forgive for them physical, sexual, and verbal and financial abuse that you've been through in your lifetime. You might have to accept, hey, I might do have some mental illnesses. You might have to accept, you know what, I do have physical illnesses. But guess what? Your heart will keep the body alive. So whatever you do what the word says. Okay? Guard your heart. You could be healed in your emotions today. All right? Please get this emotional stability and emotional awareness in your life so you can have a healthy lifestyle. And thank you for watching Trauma Support Group Management by Mr. Darrell Walker. If you like who I am, please subscribe, like, share, or hit that comment, or just put in the comments emotional stability to let me know I reached you today and you got clarity out this video. Thank you for watching once again, and see you in the next video.